Howdy folks, welcome back to World of Tanks with the Mighty Jingles, another episode of The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. 3 replays for you today. Which one's good, which one's bad, and which one's ugly? Who can say? Maybe one of them's bad and ugly. You be the judge. We're kicking off proceedings with a tier 10 match on Sacred Valley in the T-57 Heavy. I'd like to tell you the name of the driver, but he's got one of those names, hasn't he? I don't think you're supposed to pronounce it. JGDM? We're going to call him Dave. Dave in the T-57 Heavy on Sacred Valley. Now, obviously, tier 10 heavy tank, so he's top tier. And it's a very tier 10 game. More than a third of each team are tier 10 tanks. And another thing I'm noticing is that, look at all the autoloaders. Nearly half of all of the tanks in this battle have got autoloading weapons of some description, whether that's the AMX 1390, the Waffenträger E100, or the number of T-57 heavies that are involved in this game. I don't have any tier 10 autoloaders, I'm feeling left out. It seems to be the way to go. Anyway, well, this is where, and it's not encounter, it's a standard battle, and this is pretty much where the heavy tank action tends to develop on Sacred Valley. So you've got a T-54 gun up front. He's moving up with an IS-8. There's plenty of support coming in behind. T-54, enemy T-54, forcing each other to back off. The T-54 sees the big boys arrive. He doesn't want to get involved in any of that. Doesn't really have a shot. Doesn't waste the ammunition. And there are the big boys. IS-7's gone low. Oh, careful. Doesn't want to get in the way of the E-75. Maybe he can go up and over. Now that the IS-8 and the T-54 force the enemy mediums to fall back, perhaps he can take advantage of that. Come around and get some shots into this boy here, the IS-8. Doesn't really have a shot there. Oh, that's a good one. And that one missed. And that one seemed to go in. Can he? Yep, there's his first kill. Now, of course, he has to reload. As he pulls back, look at that little fight going off over there to the left. There's an IS-8 and the T-54 holding the corner against an IS-4 and T-54 who are pushing up. But there's a friendly T-57 Heavy behind them, and an enemy T-57 Heavy is now laying into that IS-8. Dave's about to reload. He's nailed the IS-8. Gets 1 into him, 2 into him. Is this guy going to be able to pull back? 3. He gets away, but he's feeling pretty sorry for himself. Dave's got 1 shot left. Turret of a hull down IS-7? Never going to happen. And looking for that shot allowed the enemy IS-4, who's no longer being held back by the dead IS-8, to push up and put 1 into him. But now there's a Waffenträger there holding the corner. Dave, of course, again reloading. The Waffenträger's missed one. This IS-4's doing it. Oh, he didn't miss that one. IS-4 pushing his luck there, trying to bait the Waffenträger into firing and bouncing. Well, it worked once, but it didn't work twice. Now there's a sneaky friendly Waffenträger Panzer IV there, sneaking up behind the IS-4 and trying to make him the meat in the Waffenträger sandwich, but he's been a little bit too clever for his own good because an enemy T-57 Heavy sneaked up behind him. But with the IS-4's turret turned, Dave is able to, come on, final shot, yep, not quite enough to kill him. Waffenträger E100 takes the hit. Oh, he bounces 1. This is probably his last shot. He's got him. There's a T-54 down there. You're looking around to see if there's a threat to the right. It doesn't appear to be anything. And there's a hell of a roadblock of dead tanks down here. And he's almost reloaded. He's going to have to push his way through the wrecks. And oh, 1 T-57 Heavy, 2 T-57 Heavies, an IS-8 and a badly injured IS-7. He's calling for the T-54 to pull back, but yes, he manages to get... Oh, crap. Well, okay, not great. He's managed to preserve the health of the T-54 by nailing the enemy T-57 Heavy before it could fire, but then he took 800 damage from something. And that's got to be the enemy T-110E4. Now, he hasn't been spotted, but he's obviously in a position to hit him when he was on the high ground halfway up the road there. Now, this is where he gets a little bit unlucky. He comes around the corner to engage that IS-8. He sees 1 enemy Waffenträger, but look at this. We're going to have to watch this again. Okay, he's killed the IS-8, but he's lost almost all of his health. And that was because there was a second Waffenträger E100 back up there in the village that he didn't see until he came around the corner when it was too late. Let's watch that again. So we're just going to rewind. right to the point where he comes around the corner. Now, you'll note that he sees one Waffenträger E100, but he doesn't see the second one until it's too late. The first one will slow things down a little, is right there, but he doesn't have a line of fire. That's why he thinks it's worth the risk to come around and shoot that IS-8. So he's expecting to take one from the IS-8, but he thinks, well, that's alright, I've got the health for it. The Waffenträger puts two into him, the third one bounces, he starts pulling back, and then the fourth one bounces off the T-54. They should have both been dead. But, well, RNG. The Waffenträger's now out of ammo, and he's cursing. He was just robbed of 2 kills there. It's World of Tanks for you. So, all of that for a low health IS-8. Well, he didn't know the Waffenträger was up there. But now he does know the Waffenträger is up there, and now he's reloading. That T-54 obviously not keen to stick his nose around the corner and test whether or not the second Waffenträger has moved into another position. They got a scout moving up to threaten where those guys were, however. And there's the enemy T-57 heavy, and he still has an awful lot of health, and I'll bet you he has all 4 shots loaded in his magazine. Now, I'm not quite sure what the rest of the team are doing over to the far right, while they haven't hooked around yet. Maybe they're scared of getting shot at by the Waffenträger as well. Reasonable assumption, but Dave is starting to get a bit impatient with them. They're just sitting there, rather than moving forward and put some pressure on this T-57 heavy. So he politely invites them to get their arses into gear. Oh, that's not quite what he meant. No, Waffenträger E100, don't do it. Don't do it. This is not going to end well for you. But if you insist on going out, we'll definitely take advantage of it. There, he's got the T-57 heavy, and he's staying as far over to the left as he can. Oh, he takes a hit anyway. Stayed as far over to the left as he possibly could to try to stay out of line of fire of the Waffenträgers at the bottom end of that road. One of them managed to hit him anyway, but his turret took the hit. So he has taken a bit of a battering in this game. He's had his ammo rack knocked out early on. He's used his repair kit for that, which means he can't do anything about his damaged turret ring. He only has 118 health left, and he's already used his first aid kit to get his driver back up. Still, his gun still works. There is always that. But have a look at the map. Now he's anticipating either somebody from the enemy team working their way along this completely empty flank and starting to cap. And that wouldn't be too bad, because then he would be able to blast them into oblivion in the cap circle. But if, on the other hand, they're taking this opportunity to work their way around so that they can come up and deliver surprise packages of butt sex to Dave and his team, that would not be good. But Dave only has 118 health. Now he does have a T-110E4 with him, who has, if not all, well, most of his health. And, oh, enemy... Oh, it's another T-57 heavy. Oh, and that's not all. This is less than good. So he's put one in at the T-57 heavy. He's killed him. He's got to move, he's got to move, he's got to move, and he is quite blatantly using the T-110E4 as cover from this E75. And now watch this. Did you see that? Let's watch it again. Now, you might think hiding behind the E4 was a bit of a scumbag move, but the E4 had most of his health left, and it's only an E75. What's the worst that can happen? Yeah. Didn't see that one coming. Double ammo rack. Twice the fun. Yeah, you don't see that happen every day. Anyway, back to the action. Well, it's now 3-on-3. The Jaeger has just nailed one of the enemy Waffenträgers. Now, look at that T-54 over there. Did you see that? He just got ammo racked. He just got ammo racked by the Waffenträger 4. And, oh, great, they've lost the Jaeger as well. So now it's 3-on-1. And despite what the health bar is telling you, that's just a bug in the replay, Dave only has 118 health. He is not a full health T-57 heavy, and here comes the Waffenträger. So the question is, how lucky is the Waffenträger feeling? He could play it safe and just wait for his team to turn up, but he only has to hit Dave with one shot to kill him. But if that shot misses, bounces, or something goes wrong, Dave can clip him. With one magazine, he can kill that guy. So how lucky is he feeling? I guess we're going to find out. It looks like he's going for it. There's one. Ooh, 327, that was a low damage roll. There's two. Oh, his tracks have taken the shot. Come on, three. You've got to be kidding. It was that 327 damage roll from the first shot, and his repair kit has been used, so he couldn't get his tracks back up, and that's all the time the Waffenträger needed to reload and finish him off. So, if any of you were wondering what a 9,200 damage ace tanker high caliber Top Gun 7 kill defeat looks like, well, wonder no more. Our next clip was sent in by Zapback24. He's in one of the Reddit clans, and he's driving the KV2 on Windstorm, but it's really not about what he does in the KV2. It's about watching the combat messages above the minimap and just watching the enemy team self-destruct before anybody on Zapback's team gets anywhere near them. For the benefit of those of you watching on mobile devices, we're going to zoom in so you can follow the battle messages above the minimap there. And there we go, barely 40 seconds into the game, and the Tigers just team killed the Chaffee. Now, the Tiger ended up doing 367 damage to the Chaffee, but that's not enough to kill a Chaffee, so who else is shooting the Chaffee, and why? What's the Chaffee doing that pissed people off so much? So surely the Tiger's next. He's already team killed, and not turned blue. No, you'd be wrong, because the artillery, the AMX-13F3, then decides, for no apparent reason, to team kill the VK-2801. So, what the hell's going on over there? Is this just a troll light tank platoon? It wouldn't be the first time we've seen it happen. The Tiger and the artillery just defend themselves from a pair of idiots trolling their team in light tanks. Reasonable assumption to make, but no, they're not platooned. These two guys have never seen each other before. So we have absolutely no idea what the hell is going on over there in the enemy cap circle other than an orgy of self-destruction. But it's not done yet. Because now the Comet's getting stuck in on the action. He's just team killed the Tiger 1, and not one of these guys has turned blue yet. Now, Zapback24 here is probably despairing of ever getting to do any damage to the enemy team. They just keep killing each other. Luckily, however, well, you can always rely on M6 drivers to drive out arse first in front of your 152mm gun. So, hooray! Hooray for the KV2. But the drama isn't over yet, because that artillery, he's got a taste for it now, and he's just team killed the Comet, and you'll note, has not turned blue. Oh, and there he is. What the hell was going on over in the enemy side of the map in this game? Until somebody on the enemy team submits a replay, we will never know, but wow. World of tanks, eh? Our final replay comes courtesy of Andy in Brum in the British Tier 5 tank destroyer, the AT-2. I suspect that Andy in Brum is called Andrew and he comes from Birmingham, if his nickname is anything to go by. So thank you for sending this one in, Andy. It was absolutely hilarious. For those of you who have perhaps not yet come across the AT-2, here is pretty much all you need to know about an AT-2 if you see one on the enemy team. Don't shoot at it from the front. This little thing is very, very slow, and the gun is not very impressive, but the armour on the AT-2, it's got as much rear armour as most Tier 5 heavy tanks have at the front. It's 101mm of armour at the rear, 101mm of armour at the side. As far as the front of this thing's concerned, it's 203mm thick, at Tier 5. Just to put that into perspective for you, this thing, at Tier 5, has double the frontal armour of most Tier 7 heavy tanks. Don't go shooting at the front of the AT-2. No good will come of it. In fact, in a Tier 5 maximum game, most of the tanks on the enemy team are going to have problems penetrating the side and the rear. Here's what you do if you have to shoot at the front of an AT-2. See the commander's hatch on top? That's where you shoot at him. But you're going to take damage when you're doing it, because that 6-pounder gun of his has a very, very good rate of fire. And it doesn't do an awful lot of damage, not in one shot, but it soon adds up. And he also has a lot more health than your average Tier 5 tank destroyer. Most Tier 5 tank destroyers can be one-shotted by a Russian 122mm gun, because they only have around 350 health. Not the AT-2. He has 540. His gun has 110mm of penetration, but it only does 75 damage per shot. Is this thing a little overpowered? Well, everything's a little overpowered if you're just going to fire straight into the thickest armour of the thing. Aim for the hatch on the top. It's the easiest part of the tank to penetrate. Even from the rear, you should be aiming for that hatch on the top. And it's right on top of the tank. It's not like he can hide it, you know. And so it never ceases to amaze me when you watch replays like this and people just, I don't know, son, you're doing it wrong. So he's just lost his other two teammates. He's now completely alone. The Panzer IV and the T-34 have both been finished off, and he's now facing, well, I don't know how many enemy tanks. All of them, I think. And none of them are shooting his commander's hatch. They're all just derping away at his thickest armour. Is this tank overpowered? Well, any tank's overpowered if you're just going to shoot where the armour's thickest. I mean, come on. Panzer IV thinks, I'll go up after him, and he just backs off. Which has the added benefit of putting him out of the line of fire of the other guys at the bottom of the hill. Panzer IV thinks, actually, that's not a very good idea. Backs up again. T-34 comes up, takes a couple of hits, thinks, no, don't like that. He backs off as well. Now he's advancing on them. They're all just unloading high explosive at him. But here's the thing, down here at tier 5, the biggest gun anybody has is 75, 76mm, mostly. And that kind of caliber high explosive is terrible. It just will not damage anything inside the tank if you're firing at it from the front. You'll damage the gun, certainly. A lot of AT2 drivers constantly get their gun knocked out, but... Oh, is he going to get a ram kill? Please... That's the holy grail for a British tank destroyer driver. Ramming something to death. You've got the weight, you've got the armour, but you don't have the speed. Look at this. They can't even penetrate his sides. Aim for his commander's hatch. What is wrong with you people? Are you new here? Is that what it is? Well, it's tier 5. They probably are. But that doesn't mean it's not funny to watch. Look at this. It's like kicking puppies. Oh, there's a Panzer 38 behind him who's actually arrived just in time to steal his kill. Dude, get around him. And I'm not saying get around him because that's where his armour's the weakest. I mean, his armour is the weakest, but you're still going to have problems penetrating it if you aim at his thickest side armour or rear armour. You get around the AT2 so he can't shoot you back. You can penetrate the AT2 from any angle, even the front. Just don't aim at where his armour's the thickest. Aim for the hatch on the top. It's a huge target, you can't miss. And it's not like you can cover it up. It's not like a weak lower glacis. It's on top of the tank. It couldn't be easier to kill one of these things, but no, we're just going to blast away at the front of the tank and then complain on the forums that it's overpowered. Son, you're doing it wrong. Still, I did think it was jolly nice of the enemy team to just deliver Andy a nice gift-wrapped ace tanker badge there. Very, very generous of them, I thought. You don't often see that kind of sportsmanship in World of Tanks. Well done. Look at that. Gun only does 75 damage per shot, 2,111 damage done. And as far as damage received is concerned, look at this. He took 56 hits, only 3 of them penetrated. One of those blew his tracks off. When will people learn? Well, that's why I put these videos up. Well, it's not. I mean, I say it is, but I put them up so we can all have a laugh. But hopefully you can learn something as well. Don't go shooting at the front of AT2s. What's wrong with you? Shoot at the commander's hatch and get around him so he can't shoot you back. Anyway, I hope you found these amusing. I certainly did. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.